Hello friends, today I'm bringing you the Elixir Rotation Guide for high-end spots. In this one, we will go over which elixirs are included in the rotation for most spots, and how to make the rare ones, since all of them but 3 are buyable within a reasonable amount of time, even on an A. Due to the fact that the price on market isn't reflective of how much it costs to process elixirs from green to blue party ones, the former are rarely sold, even though the green grade is very much buyable. While showing the elixir rotation, I will first show the green grade elixir and then the blue party one, just for comparison of stats. If your region is drastically different from the ones I checked and you cannot buy most elixirs, please let me know in the comments and I will make another part for this with all the elixirs. First things first, let's take a look at which elixirs are actually in the rotation. Starting with the offensive ones, we will need the following elixirs. All of those are similarly important, except for Frenzy and Elvia spots, where the cap is 5%. Here are additional, optional elixirs that you might want to use depending on your setup or type of spot you're grinding. Shock is often used to cap your 5 crit if you're not running dotting crystals. Carnage is for the spots where mobs can be CC'd and down attacked. Alongside these, you want to use a species damage elixir. Depending on spot, it might be different, and in some spots there are multiple species. There is also Brutal Death and Brutal Perforation that provide defense nullifying damage, but I haven't found them to be as effective as the rest. From the defensive elixirs, we will be using the following. The 3 most important ones are Grim Soul, Strong Draining, and Will. They provide you with great sustain and monster damage reduction. The other 3 are also important for high damage output spots, but for general use, you can skip them. Alright, now let's talk about life scaling requirements. It will greatly decrease the time you need to gather the regions. Gear-wise, you will need a lot of silver for your setup, but setting aside around 5 billion for cloth and lodge accessories will be enough. To unlock the minigame, you will need to have access to Land on the Morning Light and Artisan and Gathering, which doesn't take that much time if you do some gathering here and there for other stuff. Or you can make a Shy Out, who starts with Professional 1 with both Gathering and Alchemy, in which case you only need to get 10 more extra levels to unlock the minigame. This also helps with Alchemy a little, since elixirs are going to make also require you to be Artisan and Alchemy to proc the blue versions. Now that we covered the requirements, let's talk about the bottleneck mats for each. For Griffin elixir, the main one will be Griffin Claws, since the rest is often sold at the central market or easily gathered yourself. For the detection elixir, that will be Truffle mushrooms, which currently have more pre-orders than lifetime sales. And for destruction elixir, the main bottleneck is the Snowfield cedar sap, that looks buyable but in reality is not reasonable to rely on. I've personally had an order on it for at least a few months and have yet to see it come through. Now let's talk about materials. For Griffin Claws, there are 2 options. One is gathering Griffons and King Griffins in the Navarn Steppe, and the other is hunting Griffin boss in Ash Forest. I prefer doing the Navarn method, since it's less active and seems to be faster for me than channel hopping and praying for the hunting boss to be there. I chose to not include a whole Navarn rotation here, since running back and forth takes quite a bit of time. So here is the rotation I will be doing on a screenshot. You can add some more Griffins that are on the side, but I found it to be annoying since there are lots of other small mobs there. For Truffle mushrooms, there are a lot of different locations now, almost in every region. For ease of access, I prefer the 2 spots in Duvenkron. They are relatively low runtime between the 2, and are also rarely contested. Here are the locations for them. For the first one, you want to run to this river on the map, and start here. For the second, you need to autopath to this NPC on the map. Then go through the gate, and turn to the left. Now, I will showcase all the Truffle locations in these 2 spots. And now for the second cave. After getting the last Truffle, you can swap to the next home server and start the rotation over. Now then, last but not least, Snowfield setters up. This one has the easiest rotation. You just start at the gates over here and go counterclockwise around the road and swap to another home server when you're back. There are plenty Snowfield setters in this circle, and if needed, there are some more distant trees you can extend to. There are also a lot of pine trees in this rotation, which are used mostly for either perforation or EXP elixirs, so when I'm there, I'm gathering them too. If you're buying these two, you can just skip pines and focus on Snowfield setters. I will showcase a rotation I did the other day for this video. At this point here, you can either finish the session or swap to another channel to continue. Trees have a bit of a longer respawn time, so you can't really do them on 1 or 2 channels at a time, so I suggest doing guild servers, just like for Truffles. I hope this guide helps you increase your loot, and if you have any more questions, feel free to join the Discord or ask them here. I will try to answer most of them. All the resources used in this video, including website and guides for stuff like gathering minigame, will be in the description. See you in the next one!